What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I've got another never used match. This one is using the same team as I was in the previous video. This is against Jackson, and he has a pretty interesting team here, so I was trying to use the whole Regigigas thing again, trying to get this dude to make something happen. But looking at my opponent's team, I do notice that he does have the Mismagius, so that's going to make it real difficult for Regigigas to set stuff up. But other than that, he has some pretty big threats in like the Houndoom. The Scyther can cause some problems along with like the Aggron and some fun stuff like that. But let's go ahead and just hop into the battle. So I was kind of expecting him to want to lead off with his Aggron for Stealth Rock, so I just go ahead and toss out my Floof Ball, which is my Primeape, as he actually ends up leading off with his Scyther. So this thing comes out here, he probably doesn't want to take a Stone Edge right to the face immediately, so he's going to go ahead and actually switch out here, as I'm going to go for the U-turn, kind of expecting a switch, and he's going to bring in the Ghost with the hat. So I'll go ahead and U-turn out of here. This is nice because this allows me to bring in whatever matchup I feel like, and if I can get rid of this damn thing early, it'll make Regigigas' job a whole lot easier, considering my only attacking moves are Return and Drain Punch. So really, as long as that Ghost is around, I can't start setting up Reggie, so that kind of sucks. But I bring in my Cradilly here, as I'm actually going to go for a Toxic. I really wanted to land it on that Miss Maggie, but it's not going to happen as the freaking Aggron comes out here. Then I predicted this thing to go for the Stealth Rock, but he's just going to go straight for the Heavy Slam, which I thought was interesting. I really wasn't expecting him to go straight for an attacking move, so that really sucks. I lose Cradilly early. Now I don't have any way to go for Stealth Rock, so that kind of sucks. But here I bring in Gastrodon. He actually tries to go for the Metal Burst, expecting me to be faster, yet I'm just going to go for a nice little Scald. Unfortunately, he's going to pop open a Berry, and that's going to bring him like above half, and I'm like, well, damn it. This is not going according to plan, but it's alright. So he's now going to switch out. He does have a Whimsicott on his team, so he's going to go ahead and bring that thing right on out, as I really wish I would have gone for Toxic here, expecting a switch, but kind of just wanted to go for the safe play there. The Scald does not get the burn, which kind of sucks. And obviously, I can't stay in against this freaking Afro because I'm allergic to grass, and that would be bad news if I get hit with a Giga Drain. So I'm forced to switch here. I know he's probably going to want to go for the Substitute or something, so I really kind of just have to switch. I decided to go into old Housewife here, as he does end up setting up a Substitute. Mr. Mime was kind of my best switch into this thing, considering I can just break the subs with Psychic, and he can't really hurt me a whole lot. So that's kind of my plan here, as he's now going to go for a Toxic. Gets that nice little Prankster Toxic, which is quite annoying, as Housewife is freaking got the AIDS now. So I'm going to go ahead and just go for a Psychic, trying to break the sub, getting this thing, trying to whittle this thing down as much as possible. I do in the back of my team have Primeape with Poison Jab, which is kind of my best answer to this Whimsicott, so I do at least have something for this, but Housewife is kind of trying to do as much as he can out here so far. So this thing's eating some leftovers and shit, got a nickname that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. But what even is Whimsicott? I don't even, this thing is the weirdest Pokemon ever. I hate it, honestly. Jumpluff and Whimsicott, those things can die. But yeah, so rather than going for the attacking move again, I actually decided to go for the Thunder Wave, as it lands on the Scyther, which is pretty awesome, and that's going to make that thing a lot easier to take care of. I know these things are pretty damn bulky with the Eviolite, and Psychic is not going to be able to do a whole lot to this thing, plus I don't want to die. I want to save Mr. Mime, potentially, so I'm going to go ahead and switch. My best answer for this thing is my Gastrodon, considering I am a defense wall, as he is actually going to play with some rusty-ass swords, and that's going to make this thing's attack super high, and he can probably 2-hit KO me with anything. So he ends up going for an Aerial Ace that is going to knock me down below half, and my best thing to do here was just to go for an Ice Beam, try to get as much damage as possible, as it doesn't really do a whole lot, honestly. Obviously, this Gastrodon isn't too invested in special attack, but it's kind of just there for support. But he actually gets paralyzed this next turn, which is perfect for me, because that allows me to get another Ice Beam off, and that's going to take this thing down to the point where it should be really easy to take care of later. Unfortunately, I kind of pay the price because Gastrodon's out here at like less than half health, and I can't take another attack from this thing, and he's now going to go for a U-turn, actually. So the bad news about not being able to get my Stealth Rock up is that this thing can come in. Scyther is usually just gets destroyed by Stealth Rock, but I wasn't able to get those up. So that is no bueno. At least it's paralyzed, and at this point on the empty battlefield, he's going to bring right back in the Whimsicott. So the Cotton thing's over here eating some leftovers, and now's when I decide, screw it, I gotta go for it. So I'm going to bring in Primeape here. He is actually going to go for a nice little Prankster Toxic. He probably didn't expect me to have much for him, but I do actually have Poison Jab over Earthquake on this moveset, just for kind of shit like this. So it actually works out. Poison Jab going to punch this thing right in the face, and that is a dead Whimsicott, and it's always great to see those things go down, because those things are just a pain in the ass every time. So the bad news about being locked into Poison Jab is the fact that he does still have his Aggron left. Obviously this thing's steel as fuck and it's not going to get affected by any Poison Jab, so I'm going to have to switch out. Primeape is looking like my most useful mon at this point, as this allows me a free switch into Water Wings, bring out the old golden Water Wings, as he's going to end up actually going for the Stealth Rock of his own. That's kind of annoying, going to get hurt by a little bit of that, but my team doesn't care about it a whole lot. I was able to freely bring in Floatzel, which is awesome, and then that allows me to go for a nice little Waterfall, which will take out the Aggron. So I'm making progress here, but honestly, I'm really just sitting on this Regigigas in the back of my team, who's kind of a waste of a slot at this point. But now he's going to bring out the freaking Miss Maggie, and check this out, it actually turns out to be Choice Scarfed. So I did not see that coming. There's no scenario where this thing outspeeds me unless it's Choice Scarfed, so of course it's got the Scarf, and a Thunderbolt is able to take out my Floatzel, which is quite annoying. So now in kind of last-ditch efforts, all I can really do here is bring in my Floof. I'm going to go for a Stone Edge, as he's actually just going to switch right back into the Scyther and just kind of sack this thing off. The Stone Edge is going to connect, luckily, and that's a dead Scyther, so still just knocking mons out, but as long as that Miss Maggie's around, it's really kind of going to be annoying. The best thing I can do to it is just Stone Edge and kind of hope that it knocks it out. But yeah, so now he's going to bring in Poseidon, freaking Lantern here. It's going to be floating in the air with his air balloon. I don't know why you need an air balloon. You're already floating anyway, buddy. But I'm going to go ahead and switch. I decided to bring in Housewife just because I know I can take an attack and then I can kind of whittle this thing down a little bit, trying to make it easier to take care of. But he's going to go for a Scald. Obviously, Housewife eats that shit up. Hot water ain't nothing. And yeah, so I do just go for, actually I go for a Dazzling Gleam here, expecting him to potentially switch into his Houndoom, which we haven't seen yet, but that thing could have blocked a Psychic, so I went for that just to kind of play it safe. But it definitely doesn't do a whole lot of damage to Lantern, because those things are especially defensive as titties, and I have to lose my Housewife to a Scald there, so that kind of sucks. Now all I can really do here is bring right back in Floof, and I've kind of got to lock myself into Stone Edge, considering I want to land it on that Miss Maggie. So he actually does end up switching right into that thing. I'm guessing he was expecting the Earthquake, but Stone Edge is going to connect, and I'm crossing my fingers, but it doesn't quite kill it. Leaves it in red health, and considering this thing is Choice Scarfed, I'm not going to be able to outspeed to go for another Stone Edge there, so that allows him to go for a Dazzling Gleam. And now my last Pokemon is my Regigigas, who cannot touch this thing, so there's really nothing left that I can do. So I am forced to kind of forfeit here. But that was a pretty good match. The Scarf Miss Maggie actually really destroyed me. Honestly, I was not expecting this thing to be Scarf. You don't really see that a whole lot, so it kind of caught me off guard. But had that thing not been Scarfed, would have been a whole different match. But either way, that was a really fun match. Using this team is kind of a struggle, but if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. Also, a little bit of a bonus kind of section of this video. I'm going to throw in a showdown session, or at least a battle, where this Regigigas actually does what it's supposed to, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, so this is what this Regigigas is supposed to do. Peace out.